Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Tomorrowman Podcast. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and find me on social media on @Tomorrowman Podcast. My guest today is my good friend Nigel Walsh, a singer-songwriter based in Los Angeles with influences ranging from roots, blues, and classical rock to countless others. Using his raw, captivating sound, you can catch him performing around many LA venues. He's also toured extensively around the U.S. headlining festivals such as Bighorn Music Festival and Live Oak Music Festival, to name a few. All this info and much more can be found on his website, nigelwalsh.com. And thank you again, Nigel, for joining me on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. You want to open it up with one of yours?
This is actually a Merle Haggard song. It was released in
Excellent.
either 2005 or 2008, and it's called America First. And the reason I picked it is because it's just funny to see how much the meaning of it's changed in the last 10, 13 years from when he released it. And he's talking about all the same stuff that is relevant still. It hasn't gone away, but the context and the connotation of the way he wrote it has changed completely. And so I wanted to troll your audience a little bit, or anybody out there on internet land, by picking this song. Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it the worst. Let the rest of the world help us for change, and let's rebuild America first. Our highways and bridges are falling apart. Who's blessed? Who has been cursed? There's things to be done all over the world, but let's rebuild America first. Who's on the hill? Who's watching the valley? Who's in charge of it all? God bless the army, and God bless our liberty, and goddamn the rest of it all. Yeah, men in position are backing away. Freedom is stuck in reverse. Let's get out of Iraq, get back on the track, and let's rebuild America first. Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it the most. Well, you think I'm blowing smoke, but boys, it ain't no joke. I make 20 trips a year from coast to coast.
Beautiful, brother.
Thank you.
Dude. Got chills right now, man. That was excellent, man.
Thanks.
Took me away, man.
Yeah. You mind if I get reconnoitered?
Yeah. Let's take position? Pause.
Por favor.
Oh, we're back. We're on?
Thank you,
oh, shit.
sir.
Okay. Well, now we're settled.
Oh, yes, we certainly are. Hey, cheers to you, sir.
Yes, thank
cheers,
you for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
For sure, yes. And for those of you, Nigel Walsh is with me, and I got Mike Mendoza right here, engineering for me. Thank you, Mike.
Everybody out in internet land.
Dude, I dig your little get up right now, man. This purple is fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Very center staging reminiscent.
It totally is. Yeah. I like purple, especially dark purple, to wear because it's like it's interesting. It's visually interesting because not a lot of people wear it.
You choose to have patterns and everything like that too. Is that
God, I don't even think I bought this shirt. I might have picked this out, but I honestly, if I'm remembering my Queer Eye from the Straight Guy properly from the mid 2000s, I think that patterns on large men you're supposed to shy away from because it can be too like visually distracting. But I don't give a fuck because I like this shirt.
And what's the name of that tie?
Oh, the bolo tie,
dude.
Yeah,
man, I want like 100 of those.
They're great,
dude. They're awesome.
There's so many like cool niche ones. I had to dig forever to find this.
Where'd you get it?
I got on the internet.
Yeah,
it
like
was
some random spot, like on eBay.
It was like Google Shopping page number 34. Just like digging and digging and digging. I literally dug for hours to find something that I liked because I'm super picky.
Is that your favorite flower right there, a rose?
Or
you just like the symbol of it?
I don't know if it's my favorite flower. I haven't thought about that, but I like it because of what it represents. Yeah, because it's about romance and loving and. Do
you find you have a lot of that in your music?
Well, it's funny because you know me well.
Yeah,
and
I do.
I'm rather brash.
A little too well.
A lot of the time. A little too well to be interviewing one. No, it's perfect though. But I mean, I'm a combination of brashness and loving. Like it's all done with love, right? But so yeah, musically, and it's funny because I just was writing a new song with my keyboard player Stanley Loken, and who you know, and he was commenting. He's like, "This song is really tender." And he's like, "I don't usually."
I never heard anybody use
like,
that word.
Well, no, he's like, I don't.
Song.
Oh, really? Yeah, right? He's like the material's really tender, and he's like, I don't usually get that out of you. And I thought it was really funny because like I have 170 or so songs just stashed away, and he hasn't heard most of them, and a lot of them are like tender ballads. But the stuff that I brought out to give to my band is all across the board.
Yeah.
So and I try to pick songs that are more I guess relatable, because if you have a whole record full of ballads, people are gonna be like, huh? Oh, that's right, track number 8. And you need something to keep them engaged. So I wanted to hit people with more rock and more like country and more just like straight ahead accessible stuff.
Yeah, was that was it Live at the Mint? Is that your first release?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many ballads are on there, but there's a few in there. One Memory's a ballad. That's in there. I don't have the track list in front of me, but there's probably 2 or 3 ballads at least in there. I write a ton of ballads because...
Would you want to like release an album that's just entirely ballads?
I don't know if people would want me to release an album that's entirely ballads, but
what about what you want?
In my music nerd heart of hearts, absolutely.
Yeah. You like being the sappy love guy?
Well, it's funny because I don't. But
do you find yourself gravitating just writing towards that all the time?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is then?
I don't know. One of the themes that shows up all the time, whether I like it or not, is the idea of redemption through love. And that's like really common thing. Okay, so we'll get into some deeper stuff then. So my mom is a writer. That's why I'm even into writing. She got a scholarship. She earned a scholarship to Oxford, a full scholarship, which a lot of people don't know. Oxford is one of the oldest universities in the whole world. It predates the Aztec Empire, I'm pretty sure. It's a contemporary of the Aztec Empire. It's been around that long.
Jeez.
And it's a few hours outside London by car, and it's got a deep tradition of language scholastics. So she studied 19th century Romantic era writing from England, poetry and literature. And that was very deeply influential for me when I was growing up, because she'd have all these books of English poetry and literature lying around the house. And so I just sucked all that stuff in because I was a voracious reader when I was younger. And I'd read anything I could get my hands on. I would just blaze through books. I'm an only child.
What was your favorite genre, I guess?
Genre.
I mean, nonfiction.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what time it was in my life, because I jump around in a lot of stuff. I used to read the Uncle John's bathroom readers that are about 3 inches thick and just pick up trivia, just little historical facts.
And this time when you were reading, were you was it also the beginnings of your own writing?
I started writing, God. I can't even really barely remember when I started writing. The earliest I could remember, I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. And that's right when I started playing piano. Maybe a little older than that, I started writing. And it's just like silly stuff. You're just like trying on the clothes, so to speak, of being a writer. And you're just like, oh, let's see this. And I was listening to the Beatles a bunch. I'm listening to the White Album. And they had that song, Savoy Truffle. Super deep cut. Most people, you would not know it unless you heard it. Even then, you probably wouldn't know it. But I'm like, oh, I'll write a song about a pastry. And so I'm like, okay, this one's called Mulberry Chiffon, right? So I fucking write my little Mulberry Chiffon song. It probably had all of like 8 lines, just like silly little kid stuff. But I'm trying on the idea of being a writer, just like tinkering with it. And
you still have it?
No, that's lost to the dustbin of personal history. I'm sure it was all thrown away. but I still remember the melody. It's so stupid. But so
you said you started playing when you were 9.
Yeah, started playing piano.
Were you did you get lessons like at your was it at school, or were you having lessons at your house?
private lessons in this lady Carol Gobler's house. She just had a piano in her house. And
you wanted to have lessons?
Not necessarily. No, my mom's like, I got to get you doing something, either for her own sanity or just to get me interested.
But you're reading books anyway, though. I mean,
yeah.
So why did she feel like she needed, like, oh my God?
I don't know. It was the 90s. You just made your kids do activities. Go to soccer, go to karate.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yours was piano.
And I did karate. And then she's like, try piano. And I did piano, and it just clicked immediately.
Yeah.
I was writing songs almost immediately. Like, as soon as I figured out some of the theory and my hands started working, I was writing songs.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And you had a whole lot of fun with it, right? Like,
oh, yeah. It was great.
It wasn't like your parents or your mom wasn't drilling you, like,
no.
Like, you got to practice for 6 hours or whatever.
No, she was encouraging, but let me be independent.
Yeah.
Yeah. My poor piano teacher, she would cry about it a little bit, because I wouldn't practice the exercises she would give necessarily. I'd like take what she did. I'm like, I'll do it once or twice, get the gist of it, pass, at the next quote unquote exam, at the next lesson. Like, I'll do enough to pass, and then I'll just pursue what I wanted to do anyway, which is I'm going to cherry pick all these little aspects of it to put into my songwriting. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, basically just whatever influences you, right?
Yeah, whatever turns you on, you just you fumble your way through all the techniques that they show you, because when they teach you piano, they teach you like classical music, they teach you like contemporary, like the can or like alouette, like all that little stuff, and you learn like a whole wide variety.
Yeah, I took some piano classes.
Yeah, you learn a wide variety of material, like ragtime and jazz and classical and blues and all that stuff. And so I'm just like cherry picking little techniques. You never know when you're going to come across something like that. It's like you'll be playing alouette and you're like, ooh, that's kind of cool. They do the, God, I can't even think of the terms escaping me when you do the trill. We do little trills. I think there's little trills in alouette, and you just pick up little stuff like that. And you're like, oh, file that away and use that later when it's a good idea.
Yeah, when it's necessary.
Yeah. Or when it enhances the performance or it puts a fine emotional point on whatever song you're putting out.
Right. And how long did you take lessons for?
I took lessons from when I was 9 to when I was 17. 17, yeah.
And then you were just over it after that, or?
Well, I moved away,
or is this when you?
Let's see. These are during my lost years. Directly after that,
Your lost years?
I had some lost years. I had a lot of lost years.
Like they're just blacked out in your
They're
mind?
not blacked out. They're just a jumble.
Mm-hmm. Like sex, drugs, rock and roll?
Something like that.
All right. Enough said on that.
Yeah. We can touch on that deeper if we want to, but there's plenty of all those things and more.
When did you start picking up guitar?
I started playing guitar about 10 years ago.
Okay.
So 2008.
So it was a little bit after you stopped playing piano.
It's a while after I started playing piano. I was 17. Well, I guess it wasn't that long.
What made you pick it up?
I was homeless, and I didn't have a piano.
Oh, okay.
So I took my last $100 and I bought a guitar, so I could play music in my car.
Oh, I thought so you could like busk or something for money or some shit.
Yeah, I started doing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to busk in San Luis.
And you
Obispo.
just like taught yourself how to play, or did you already kind of have an idea?
No, I taught myself how to play.
Damn, dude,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. Taught myself how to sing and how to like really write songs, not just Mulberry Chiffon bullshit. You know, because I had written songs in like 2003, 2004 in a band. Stanny again was in, and Brandon Nisnick, my current bass player, was playing guitar in a band called Well In. And I had never been the front man in a band, and they asked me, "Hey, can you be the singer in our band?" I'm like, "I'm not a singer." They're like, "It doesn't matter. You have the right energy." Like, okay, whatever.
Hey, dudes, like David Lee Roth, man. Sometimes all it takes.
Totally.
You know?
I mean, he's an incredible singer too. But
he wasn't the greatest of like say the many that were out there.
Sure,
at that time.
he's not Pavarotti.
No, he's not.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, stage presence. That's what they wanted, I guess. So we had our raucous little band, and that's when I started to experiment with being a front man. And there are many projects, songs, performances that shall not be named that are totally unacceptable in this era. Flew relatively fine back in those days, but if you brought it back, we'd all have our heads in the guillotine.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is it like shows that you've played? Like places you played at, or things that you've done at the shows?
One of the more tame things that we did that I could actually say is
Go ahead.
We were 15 years old. We did a show on Valentine's Day, and we thought it'd be funny if we played Let's Get It On. And we were like our main influences were like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine, and like Primus.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's play Let's Get It On with those influences in mind. And we had, I don't remember who did it. I think it might've been me. I just got a huge bag of condoms. And that was pretty taboo at 15 years old.
Were you just frisbeeing those things all
frisbeeing condoms out into the crowd while I was singing Let's Get It On. And like, it was so funny because all the like hottest, most popular girls at school, like they'd never give you the time of day, really.
Yeah.
You know, duh. 'Cause you're like a band nerd or whatever you are, some fucking weirdo. And you start doing shit like that and not giving a fuck and just being rebellious, and they're like, what's going on over there? And it's so funny because at a certain point our band became so popular, and it's all a goof. It's all just like poking and prodding at the powers that be when you're 15 years old. And
all this angst.
Right, your little teen angst. And you don't know anything about who you are or what your stance on life is or anything, but you want to fucking be a rebel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have both experienced.
Oh yeah,
that
we were both
day.
in punk bands and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I started. I think I played guitar for about like maybe 4 or 5 months, and I was already in a punk band, just
That's all
ripping it up. Yeah.
That's all you need for a punk band. But what ended up happening is the band got really popular, and then like the popular chicks at school are like wearing T-shirts that they made at home with our band name and shit on them. We were all cracking up because we were like, "This is so stupid." Of course, not giving a shit is what ends up making you attractive to all the popular girls at school, even though you're just some fucking dork. But
he's so mysterious, and
it's such bullshit. But I would, I would do antics like I like. And the band wouldn't know what I was doing at any given time. Like I was notorious for just pulling shit on them, anybody. And like during a musical break, I'd like drop the microphone and like run away from the stage. Like in one performance, I jumped and just ran off the stage, and then I ran around the back of the building and then back again, and then jumped back on stage and started doing the song again. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Wait, like you left the building, or you like?
Well, we were outside,
okay.
so I jumped off the stage, ran around the building, and came back to the stage, and they're just like, "Great."
Had to get a little cardio lap.
It was all about just keeping the energy up, you know. And you're 15, so you're just boundless, you know.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't do enough.
You feel it now, right? We're all 31 here, and it's
different now.
It doesn't stay like it used to, you know.
But I'm still just as much of a fucking lunatic as I was back then, like mentally. I'm still that little kid.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I'm still.
But then does it hit like a filter though, like before it comes out?
Like when you're speaking, or
no, or just acting on in general.
Sometimes, but I gotta be honest, it's a lot of the time I just gotta fucking purge the devil. Like sometimes I'll just get so pent up from just going to work and going grocery shopping and talking to my mom, like all that little stuff that you do every day. I get so pent up sometimes I just like, I gotta go hit the bar, drink half a bottle of tequila, and black out. Like I don't even care. I know I'm intentionally destroying myself, and I'm totally fine with it.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Sometimes you gotta exercise the devil a little bit.
Yeah, man. See where your limits truly are.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. You seem like the type to go there as well a bit. You're maybe a little more reserved, but I could see you being a wild man.
Yeah, I'm not too wild. More observant, I feel.
I guess so. Yeah. More receptive.
Yeah, and I from either listen to what other people's experiences have been, and I'm like, fuck that, you know? Like,
yeah.
But I don't know why. I guess maybe because I've always been a small guy, and everyone, like my cousins and stuff I've grown around, were always like older, you know?
Okay.
So it's always like a lot of like,
you're the baby of the family.
Yeah, just like, what the fuck, you know?
Well, I was an only child, so it's the opposite for me. I had an older stepsister, but, excuse me, I haven't seen her in so many years, it's almost irrelevant at this point. But like, I was basically just on my own all the time. So like, the world's just wide open. You're just like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. I grew up on 7 acres, so like, you just be like, I'm gonna go walk into the fucking underbrush, you know, a few acres away from home, and take the dogs.
Were there other kids around, or just
nope,
you?
You just go out there and you just feel
it was like 7 acres and with nobody around.
There's no one there, and you just go fucking tromp about in the all the weeds and the trees and everything. There's a lot of oak trees and hills where I grew up. And
where was that again?
In Atascadero. This was in Templeton, which is right next to Atascadero in San Luis Obispo County.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just go wander around. I mean, for hours. So I remember, oh God, I was probably 10, 11, 12. And you just go.
No GPS, no phone.
No GPS, no phone, nobody cared. It's so weird to say that now. I can only imagine what
people freak the fuck out.
I can't imagine what these poor kids go through now, where they're like under surveillance. Oh,
yeah. Not even like willingly under surveillance.
I know,
because they're like, you know, this is where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, this is where I'm at right now.
Well, that's the cleverness of smartphones, is the insidious inserting of surveillance into your daily life that you have basically no choice to opt out of. You can opt out a little bit.
I mean, you can just by not having it, but
if you want to be a part of society, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, who the fuck do you know who doesn't have a smartphone? Really? I mean, maybe some people who don't have any money. That's maybe, like the only people you're going to run into. But like, there's some people who willingly still use flip phones too. But like,
yeah.
But even a lot of those people
I think about sometimes going back, but
yeah.
But it is very convenient to, you know, take care of all that email business and whatever else right there. But there are things that could definitely be an attention suck of some sort.
Absolutely. Obviously. I mean, God, the whole fucking Western world is sucked into fucking Instagram and anything. You know, you can name them all. It's no news. But it. You know, I remember I put a quote up on the drum department fridge, and for anybody who's listening who has no clue what we're talking about, Andrew and I used to work together at Center Staging.
Yeah.
I would hang out it's a music rehearsal business, and they have different departments for all the main instruments in a rock band, and Andrew works in the drum department, and we would put quotes and pictures and just culture in general up on the fridge. And I put this Bob Dylan quote up there. He was talking about the invasiveness of technology, and a little part of it was he was saying how it robs young people their self-identity, because you don't even get the chance to see what you're about if you're always hooked into everyone else's world, their comments, their thoughts, their way they perceive everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting instant feedback from the whole world all the time, and it's going to mold you. It's going to shape you, and you're gonna.
And I don't think we're as the way our species is really meant to be exposed to that many people, at one time.
No,
I think we're like a small, type of
tribal.
Group, tribal people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Human beings are very tribal. That's how we evolved. And I mean, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's not controversial. That's just a fact.
Yeah. That's why people are all depressed. They're getting all this fucking, this crazy feedback. It's all fucked up. Hold on, I gotta fix my computer.
Not meant to be exposed to that level of scrutiny by that many people and in an anonymous fashion. Because we are built to be exposed to scrutiny by a decent amount of people, but face to face, or maybe they'll whisper behind your back and then you hear it,
and that's why it's
come
up to
back to you.
And it's up to the individual to really decide whether they're gonna let that toxic in and let that infect them, or just brush it off, man. Because there's gonna be those people, no matter what, that you're never gonna please on anything. They
sure.
And if they got the time and energy to be spending on that, in a way, it's like, feel sorry for them, because they could have, I don't know, expelled the energy somewhere more positive for them, rather than kind of waste their time on mine. If you don't like whatever it is I'm doing, then don't be here. You have the freedom to look elsewhere, but people look for something to hate on, I think.
Well, it's a deep human impulse. We like to troll. We like to needle people. We like to
judge.
Mock. We like to judge. We like to be satirical. And
before you judge, though, judge yourself. It's so hard to do that, though. You know what I mean? Everyone is guilty of I'm probably the worst in traffic.
Again, you're anonymous, relatively. You're in a box by yourself with your own music and your own AC settings and your own little world, and you're estranged from the situation. You'd never act the way that you do standing in a crowd that you do when you're in traffic in a car. And it's the same thing with the internet. It's one more level and a much deeper level of estrangement and alienation. You're like, I can say whatever I want and fuck these people. It doesn't matter, They're just an object. You're not perceiving them and experiencing them as a real human being right in front of you, with emotions and facial expressions and a heart and feelings.
And it's that, and it's also when you're just reading a line, there's no context. So
Twitter's especially.
Or whatever it is, someone could just say something anywhere on Instagram, Facebook, anything, and immediately be fucking burned at the stake for it,
Oh, it's great.
It's great.
Well, I say it's great because it's. I feel like we're at a stage now where people are really pushing back against that stuff. Like back in the day, I feel like people were more sensitive. They're like, ooh, there's things you can and can't say. And maybe I'm totally wrong, but at least from where I'm standing, it looks like people are just not giving a shit anymore. They're just like, you know what? Fuck it. This is what I think. Go fuck yourselves if you don't like it. This is where I stand. Cry about it. Send me death threats. It's all good. Like I see a lot of people who have to go through that, and they're some of the most fascinating people in society right now are people who are dealing with absorbing all that vomit of human subconscious,
trying to sift through it,
Well, Joe Rogan has a great approach where he's like, I just post stuff and then I don't care. I just put it in the world and then it's gone.
Well, and it's a good approach because after you do that, that's it,
It's the only way to keep your sanity.
Yeah.
If you sit there and
dwell on it,
if you read all those comments, but you got to think too, and this comes back to the young people, and the Dylan quote is, there's so many.
They're addicted to it.
Well, you got to think about it.
It's a rush,
Totally. They're totally engineered.
And it's even a rush to send, say, whatever, to troll somebody,
Sure. Well, it's a rush to post something. It's a rush to get the feedback. It's a rush to troll. It's all a rush. And I mean, it's engineered specifically to do that. And when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, I remember how stupid, awkward I was. Awkward, stupid, and negligent, and not knowing anything at that age, and you're still figuring out what you're even all about, and to introduce that level of scrutiny on your thoughts and feelings and commentary and what you put into the world. I mean, it's hard enough just wearing a new outfit to high school. Like trying on a new identity, and getting the reception from that, to have that magnified by the power and the what's the word? Like the power and the maliciousness of the internet. I couldn't even imagine. I totally understand why all those poor kids are killing themselves. There's so many kids who fucking commit suicide over it. It's like, you're too fucking impressionable at that age. You can't handle that power.
Yeah, they're not ready for it.
You gotta
they haven't had enough experience on the earth.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot more fuck you in the depths
skin.
of your soul. Yeah, to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so Dylan was talking about it robs them of their self-identity.
Yeah. They're very frail.
Well, you're a teenager. Human beings are very frail.
I'm about to cry right now.
I'm a grown man. I mean, we take 18 years to raise. Basically, it's like.
Do we? Some of us fucking are ready to go sooner.
Okay. Okay, sooner. There are some, but are you? I mean, God, there's so many people I know who like ran away from home at 16 who just got the shit kicked out of them by life. Yeah. And you learn some tough.
You're not ready. You're not ready.
I mean, no one's ready. Life's fucked up. It's hard.
Big bad world out there, bro.
It is.
It's a big bad world.
And we live in a relatively cushy part of it, and it's still brutal as fuck.
Dude, I think about that a lot, like being born and living over here, like where I'm at right now, compared to where other places in the world. I'm sure there's definitely great spots, but just things that I know that are going around, or at least my perception of it, I'm just like, damn, dude, it's nice.
It's brutal out there.
It is.
This is way nicer.
Fucking paradise.
It is. It really is, but you don't feel it when you walk around. When you're standing in it day to day, you experience it as like a caveman experiencing like saber-toothed tigers running off in the distance.
But I think any human would adapt, the same exact way if they were, even if they came from that way. After a while, they'd be like bored or something, in a way.
Oh, you get bored.
Yeah, complacent
Definitely.
and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love history. I love geography. I love like learning about different parts of the world.
Yeah, man.
You start digging into all that stuff, and it.
That's why I miss you at work, man. I miss always diving deep, or you showing some new videos with your 1,000 tabs open on on the internet browser.
I can't help myself.
Slowing our fucking shit down.
But like diving deep, like be more specific. Like what about it do you miss? Which parts?
I don't know. I do miss the talks, like of whatever it is. Like it could be like some Anunnaki stuff, some out of this world. We were talking like conspiracy stuff earlier, and or some political stuff. And I don't even really talk that way in general, but you have a real nice approach. It makes it like really, I don't know, easy to talk about sometimes, because sometimes people, they always come with that very one-sided approach and very like they don't even want to hear an argument against it or any kind of rebuttal.
Yeah,
and it's always hard to connect, because at the end of it all, we're all kind of the same. We all have our different things about us, and we have to accept that we're all different, Yeah, and able to be that way.
Well, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. We're all searching. Human beings. We're so impermanent and so incomplete. That's what we are. That's what really separates us from other animals. That I can tell is it's clear that like
we're always searching for like what, the purpose.
Well, we're searching for something. I mean, a lot of times we're searching for meaning.
I see what you see about what you're saying about the animals, like they already are
they,
comfortable and.
Well, they don't seem to go through the tribulations that we go through when we're like you never see a wolf that's like, fuck, like, what am I doing, man? Like,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Like, all we ever do is just go on hunts, and then like
this guy's fucking everybody, and I don't get to fuck no one, man. This is bullshit.
Well, that's another interesting thing you bring up, because human hierarchies are so different. We're so sophisticated in how we set up our hierarchies and how we manage them and how we climb to the top of them, and the tactics that we use. I remember reading 48 Laws of Power, and great book for anybody.
I have that book.
Oh, do you? Have you read it all?
I've only got to chapter 12.
Okay. Yeah, dude, read that whole book. It's fucking incredible.
I gotta check that out.
So far, so good.
What's it about?
It's called 48 Laws of Power. It's by Robert Greene, and I look at it. It's essentially a history book.
Yeah.
It has these 48 so-called laws that Robert has decided exist, and he explains all the rules that you can use to accrue power, and he uses true historical examples to illustrate each rule. And then he also uses historical examples to illustrate the converse of each rule, times that people transgress the law and the consequences that happen to them. And in the prologue, he does mention how they're overlapping, and sometimes it's this one's the right one to use, and you know, just because I write that there's 48 doesn't mean that they're all correct all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use your own savvy judgment to figure out what's what. But it's an incredible book. It's pretty decently thick. It's probably 200-300 pages. Okay. But a life-changing read if you're into history. Some of the shit that they put in there, like I remember there's, you may not have gotten to it yet, but there's one about military campaigns of Haile Selassie in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very soft-spoken, but a brutal military tactician. And people wouldn't expect that from him because of how he acted when he was hanging out with everyone. But when it came to making snap judgments about rebellions and uprisings, he would just brutally crush people. And you'd never see it coming because of his personality. And so it was just illustrations of things like that. A lot of court politics, a lot of royalty, a lot of world leaders and how they respond to situations and how it turns out for them. Robert Greene is really well researched in that book.
All right. Dude, I got to check that one out, man. You have it too, huh?
Yeah, it's like I have like this red book. I don't know if it's red.
Yeah, it's red and blue.
Yeah.
Blue in the middle, yeah. I don't know what edition it is, but I have a PDF too if you want it. I can give it to you.
Yeah,
Even
sure.
better.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hell
no
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I just didn't get around to finishing it, but so far of what I read, it's great.
Yeah, I need to get back on my reading, man.
I couldn't stop. When I started reading that book, I couldn't stop, man. It was one I just got obsessed with. That's kind of my way. I get into something, I get totally obsessed with it. I'll listen to the same record over and over and over again.
Like,
Get all the little nuances and everything.
I want to absorb all of it.
What are some of your records that you just know back to back? Like everything from like the timing even in between when the tracks, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of records I feel timing in between the tracks, and tragically that's getting lost too in an era of where you just listen to singles.
Yeah.
But the pacing and the mastering aspect of all those old records is so incredible. Like to the point where I remember being on a mastering session for a band I was in called the Roosters, and I was like, that's like a second too long, you guys. And everybody just looks at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, it matters.
Yeah.
It matters. How it feels when you receive it and listen to it.
I totally know. I remember we were tracking an album, and man, it was like every second counted, you know, like just from where it cut off, where the next song was snapped right there, you know. It had to be perfect. It had to feel right. It had to flow right, you know.
And there is a way to do it. I mean, there might be a couple variations, but to me, it's like there is a way that professional records are mastered with the pace between songs. It's super tight how many seconds it takes to run to the next one, especially like if you listen to a Pink Floyd record. So I'm sidestepping your question. To answer your question, Astral Weeks by Van Morrison is one that I got obsessed with when I was probably like 17 years old, and I know that thing inside and out. I mean, I couldn't recite it all to you, but I know the feel of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an old relationship or something, you know? It's like you get back with the same person and all the chemistry's the same. Everything's the same about it, you know? Astral Weeks by Van Morrison. Old Beatles stuff I used to listen to. My first Beatles record was Sgt. Pepper. So that one would be one of those. A lot of them, man. I've listened to so much music. It staggers me to think about it.
I mean, and it definitely is a hard question to answer.
It is. I mean, there's a couple though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I have 10,000 records. Like
You've
in
counted them?
In MP3
Oh,
form.
okay.
It's about 10,000.
Yeah.
And I haven't listened to all those, but I've listened to 60% of them. A lot of them are discographies of artists where they're 60s artists. I'm not going to listen to all their 80s shit, but you know.
All their earlier shit was way fucking better,
It
bro.
always is, though. It always is.
Yeah.
There's so
and you
few.
can't dock them though, and an artist for wanting to evolve and change either, too. You know?
Would you want to play the same shit
Fuck no.
forever?
Fuck
I mean, God, I'd
no,
want to kill
dude.
myself. Yeah. Even Britney Spears is fucking evolving. You know what I mean? Like,
Did she?
yeah.
Did
I
she?
would argue yes. I would argue like her sound got a lot darker. And I'm a Britney Spears fan, just for the record. I can't stand most pop music, but when it's unashamed in what it is, like her stuff is, it's just like, this is pop music for 14-year-old girls. I'm like, I'm on board. I'm fucking down. Like, let's go. Let's feel the emotions of a 14-year-old girl. And like her early stuff was way more peppy. And
But she was dressed as a
exciting.
schoolgirl on her debut, like little 14-year-old, like some child trafficking fucking, like, come on.
Dude,
Yeah.
America loves jailbait.
Man.
Of course they do.
Well, Howard Stern used to say, what did he say? He goes, if God didn't want you to be attracted to teenagers, why'd he make them so fucking hot?
Howard Stern's pretty awesome.
Oh, he's great.
Do you listen to a show now?
No, I've never
Oh,
really
okay.
listened
Satellite,
to a show.
that's why. He used to just be on
FM.
yeah,
I
but
remember in the morning when I was a kid, I usually hear him in the car and Tom Likas in the car,
Oh, yeah.
like on the drive, and there was like Flash Friday. Being a kid, and I remember like that shit. And like people, like women would call me, I'm about to flash this guy on Flash Friday. It's like, yeah, on a fucking freeway showing titties and shit.
Oh, that's great. I never heard of that.
Yeah, it was
I
crazy.
never listened to those
Yeah,
shows.
Tom
back
Likas.
in the
Oh,
day.
he was crazy.
I
Man.
listen to him now because
Yeah.
he's got all these clips about like not letting women boss you around.
No, but I was there. Like, I was there when he was
back in the day
when he was active, and it was like some shit. Yeah, but it was cool.
So they did Flash Friday.
Yeah, I remember that was like a segment he had. I don't know why it stuck out. Probably because there was
mean,
fucking Chi-Chis.
It's
you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
When you're a fucking teenage boy, you kidding me?
Let's bring it back. Hello.
Bring it back, rewind.
All right, this is our musical intermission, and we're gonna have Nigel bring it in with one of his originals. Thank you again, Nigel, for being here.
Having me. This song's called Wyoming. This is a new song. It was written this year. I play a lot of my older material live, and I haven't performed this song for anyone else yet, so this is an exclusive to Tomorrowman
Hey.
World right here, right now.
Oh, I feel so special.
The sun comes up and I try to get drunk and nothing happens, baby, thank God. I'm looking out west and I'm failing in health and I'm sailing the breath of the Lord. Old river flowing in secrets, winding and wading in deep end. You're just the devil, that's alright. I got plenty devil in me. Oh, don't you settle for time, sweet time, when you're waiting for you to be free. Plastered and peeled across lavender fields, I'm breaking your toe up the line. Suckered and squealed, pleading for appeal, I'm jailed and tossed in the mines. Oh, the river flowing in secrets, winding and waning and deep end. You're just the devil, and that's alright. I got plenty of devil in me. Oh, don't you settle for time, sweet time, when you're waiting for you to be free. Grass of emerald down the hillside of our mansion double wide, of our mansion double wide. The sun comes up and I try to get drunk. I'm not into feeling no more. I've never been to the ocean. My ship is still sunk. I'm drunk and I'm dealing with whores. Old river flowing in secrets, winding and waning and deep end. You're just the devil, that's alright. I got plenty of devil in me. Oh, don't you settle for time, sweet time, when you're waiting for you to be free. Baby, you're just the devil, that's alright. Got plenty of devil in me. Oh, don't you settle for time, sweet time, when you're waiting for you to be free.
Fuck. Yes, man. Dude, do you got one more in you?
Of course I do.
Oh, man. Maybe even two more, man. I'm really enjoying this. Man.
Oh, thanks,
You
man.
are sounding fucking awesome right
Thanks,
now.
man. Okay, yeah. Give me a second. I'll swap out
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sheet.
for sure. Take your time.
So this is Atlantic City. It's originally a Bruce Springsteen song. I heard it first from the band, though. They blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night. They blew up his house too. Down on the boardwalk, they're ready for a fight. Gonna see what them ragged boys can do. Now there's trouble busting in from out of state, and the DA can't get no relief. Gonna be a rumble on the promenade, and the gambling commissioner's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Everything dies, baby, that's a fact. Maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Well, I got a job, try to put my money away, but I got the kind of debt no honest man can pay. So I drew what I had from the Central Trust, and I bought us 2 tickets for that Coal City bus. Everything dies, baby, that's a fact. But maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Now our luck may have died, and our love may be cold, but with you forever I'll stay. Yeah, we're going out where the sand turns to gold. Put your stockings on, 'cause it might get cold. Everything dies, baby, that's a fact. Maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Well, I've been looking for a job, but it's hard to find. There's winners and there's losers, baby, I'm south of that line. Well, I'm tired of coming out on the losing end. But I talked to a man last night, gonna do a little favor for him. Everything dies, baby, that's a fact. Maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Oh, meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City.
All right, all right. You're listening to... And now back to my conversation with Nigel Walsh. How's that Modelo treating you, bro?
It's delightful, as it always is.
Ice cold.
It is ice cold. You guys know how to do it in this studio, I gotta say.
In this studio, my bedroom. Thank you.
It's the studio.
Yeah, dude. The fucking bed helps, like, deaden the sound in here a little bit.
And all the clothes.
And the bed and the book.
9
the
billion
bookcase.
pieces of fucking music gear that you have in your whole crate full of drum heads.
Never stops, man.
No, I love it. You're like my crazy uncle or something. You totally have that
Yeah,
fucking
your
like
crazy little tiny uncle, Mexican uncle.
Sure. Well, it's just you'll be a good crazy uncle when the time comes for you to take that mantle up.
I'm already there.
Yeah.
So I would say like at least
I like to plead insanity.
60% of my room is the same way. It's just like music shit, and the rest is video game shit. So it's just
I love it.
Well, I have like congas too. I have like 3.
Oh wow.
I have. I want to set it up a little bit better. It's a work in progress. Obviously, been going over the years, but yeah, it'll be cool. I guess it's fun.
I mean, my place
and I have a great time in here. So.
It's much the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a little more space, but like, it's music shit and video game shit and a bed. I mean, it's all fucking same. It's dude shit.
What video games do you play?
Oh my god, bro!
Like, do you have new systems or do you like old systems?
I play PC.
Oh, you're on
shit.
PC only.
You're always
You're
upgrading.
only, so
fuck the console. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, I always felt that way because a PC feels nice.
It's so nice. You have total control. Yeah, and I'm a single player guy too.
Yeah.
So like the last 10
play
years.
on, player.
I'm a single player.
Roll dice.
He's a single player. Are you a single player for real?
Oh, I shouldn't say anything about
He shouldn't
that.
say no. Oh, hey. And he gets quiet and stares down at the ground.
I'm single. I'll say that.
Okay.
Religiously, so. But,
like you're celibate right
now? No, not celibate. I mean, being single is not the same as not having sex.
Yeah. Well, you said religious. So I just kind of assumed maybe
No.
you're taking some time off.
No,
from
I mean
fucking?
religiously single.
Oh.
Yeah, I've had 3 girlfriends, really 2,
Mm.
and so I usually stay away from all that.
What made the one kind of not deserve the number 3
It's
rank?
only like 2 months. I don't think that counts. Do you?
No.
I don't
Did you
know.
feel
I
love
don't know
or-
what the standards are?
I did, but that gets so mixed up with infatuation, and if you're having a lot of sex, you can't figure out what's going on. You can't. You don't know if you're in love or not.
There's only
You're
one
getting-
head
I
thinking.
love
Well, no.
to fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're having some. You
Vagina.
you get so flooded with emotion and endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin. It's like you don't know what the fuck's going on. You're just. I mean, the honeymoon period is like the best in every relationship to a point.
So the biggest thing is love as opposed to infatuation, and that's one of the big things because people can't distinguish between them because someone meets someone or they're like in that, as you say, honeymoon phase, and everyone knows. After that, you get to know the person. They're just like, wow, that person really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, honeymoon infatuation. I mean, God, I was hearing on Rogan's podcast him saying recently most relationships last 3 months or less because it's enough time biologically to impregnate the female and then go move on. You like make sure you're in your first trimester and then, okay, I'm good. Like the baby's there. I'm out of here. I got to keep moving. And so, I mean, a lot of.
You think naturally, like males just like are ready to just I'm out.
I
Yeah.
do. It's very biologically sound theory. I don't know how true it is, but in my personal experience, it's very true. Yeah.
Okay, you said the one was 2 months, right? And what were the other two?
The other one, I was 17 years old. It was over a year, probably a year and a half.
Oh, that was very young love.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of
first, huh?
Yeah. I kind of just count it because you're so young, you don't know what's going on. But I enjoyed it the most of all of them.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it is that doesn't make it last? Do you feel like you're too much man to handle?
Oh God.
Is that what it is, Nigel?
God, I hope not. If I could go down that narcissistic road, I'd have a whole different. I'd have a bajillion Twitter followers, and anybody who says they're too much to handle is an asshole. Just so we're perfectly clear about everything. Anybody who puts memes up on their social media or says to people in conversation, people can't handle me, you're an asshole. That's all it is. I mean, really.
Yeah.
If you truly believe that, you're a narcissistic asshole. No, for me, why relationships don't last, I mean, it's so hard to find someone you're compatible with. It's like my relationships with men are so easy because there's no expectation. Or the only expectations are things that are mutually agreed upon, bro code. And you're just like, look, it's bro code. We both respect that.
Yeah.
We play within those boundaries, and then we go back to our corner. That's very simple. But
that's a fun way to
but
cool.
But the men and women interacting, you don't even know what the rules are. The rules are different from person to person, how they are raised, what society they grew up in, what they expect be based on their relationships with their parents and your relationships with your parents.
I mean, that has to go a little bit on the guy side though too, right? I mean, all those little aspects. And
absolutely, it does. Yeah, all those things change who you are, and so your expectations and what I guess most of it's expectations. Expectations fuck a lot of things up because people don't communicate. Human beings are terrible communicators.
I think that is a huge thing. I mean, I don't know if like human beings in general are. Maybe they are.
We are.
We're very.
I tell you, we are.
I think maybe we want to be secretive in some way. Like
we don't want to admit what we want.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's shameful. A lot of it. Or
is it? Or is it perceived as shameful?
We're ashamed of it.
Yeah, because we think that we might be judged on it. So
we
rather
will be. We will be.
Not all the time necessarily, or because don't you ever find yourself sometimes when you do say it out loud, say if we're talking about being in a relationship, you say something out loud and you're like, oh, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to turn out.
Totally. When you seek that courage and you actually act on it, it usually ends up. Once you start exercising that muscle of being courageous, you do get more used to being courageous and saying what you think and what you want. And then it becomes easier and easier as time goes by.
Yeah.
And this kind of ties into our earlier conversation about self-identity. If you know yourself, you know what you want, you know what you expect, even if those things are maybe impossible or unrealistic, at least you're playing a game you can understand. If you know yourself, you're at least playing in a realm where you can get a grip on what's going on. But the thing about people is we don't even understand ourselves. We're so hard for ourselves to understand because we want to keep things secret from ourselves that aren't acceptable or that we're not okay with, other people think aren't okay. It's hard out there, man. It's hard to fucking be a human. Again,
it's hard. It feels like it's difficult just to be yourself, and in that, like having to whatever, like put it down, or like not being able to, or feeling like you're gonna be judged, is why I have this in general, just to kind of bounce it off, like different people. It's always cool to like share these ideas and different like energies with people,
Totally.
and it really kind of, I'm trying to fucking figure it out myself, and find my truth in whatever that is,
Well, nobody knows.
Nobody fucking knows.
That's the bottom line. No one really knows. The only thing you can ever know is what's going on in you. And you gotta be vigilant about it because it's always changing. Emotions are a tough thing to base anything on. Basing a relationship on love, basing a marriage on love, for instance, God, that's going to be a mess. Love comes, goes, gets hot, gets cold. You never know when it's going to be there. It could shift in a second. It's a mess.
Yeah, my parents are still together now, and it's
incredible.
It's incredible, yeah. It's like over, I don't even know. I don't want to even try to attempt to guess the number right now, but it's up there.
Just ballpark it.
Ballpark it.
They've been together as long as you've been alive.
That's for damn sure. Like
That's
at
a
least
long
like
time.
eight more years than I've been alive. So I want to say
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Around
a
there.
lot of time to spend with somebody.
It's a little bit
And they-
different
and-
than modern love, that's for sure.
Well, what is modern love? God,
And they and dude, my mom and dad, they get along fucking great.
that's nice.
And it is great, and we all get along fantastic. When we do get along, like obviously there's little things here and there, but dude, like it's cool. And I know that I am grateful for that. Because I know not a lot of people do have the chance to have that kind of thing around.
It's hard.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what kind of point I was trying to make with that, but
You don't have to make a point. You're just pointing out what your world is, and your parents have stayed together, and that's shockingly, exceedingly rare, especially in an era of hookup culture.
all the Tinders and Bumbles and whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
Are you on any of those?
of course I am.
Fuck yeah, you are.
I'm on all of them.
Laying that fucking
You name it, I'm on it.
You name it.
Laying that
tell
lock down, bro.
Got
Tell
your
me
fucking
more.
mug all over it.
Tell me more of them. I'll add my name to those.
let me serenade you to sleep, girl.
I'm not expecting to find love in that world, but you never know what you're going to hit. That's actually kind of the fun thing about it. Is like, instead, like
Random shots in the dark. And
totally.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, you're like, well, I know these 30 people. Maybe less so for you guys because you grew up in the city here or suburbs. But like, I grew up in a
Is
place.
this considered suburbs?
I don't know. What do you call it?
I think it's like city. It's like
I think it is.
something like that.
It's
not a city. Whatever.
Well,
it's not skyscrapers, but it's
No.
not the sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ain't your 7 acres. That's for damn sure.
No, and I grew up in a town of 26,000 people. And
Fuck.
Yeah, that's a small group.
yeah, and the nearest big town was like 48,000. That's the nearest thing that's like, wow, it's got a theater.
A theater.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, really, that's where I grew up. So it's like you know the same 400 people tops that you go to high school with.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys live in a whole different world. I come from a place where, like, you have met everybody in your town that you could possibly date, fuck.
Oh yeah. You could run into a new
Marry.
person every day for the rest of your life, probably here.
Totally.
And
You could run into 15 new people every day of your
Yeah.
life and still not hit all of them.
Yeah. There's so many.
And so, like, going from that dynamic where in that world when it's so tiny, you can't really afford to be cross with anybody or to discount people entirely, or like you can't treat people in ways that are common to treat people here.
Yeah.
You gotta take people with a grain of salt. You gotta kind of live and let live in a way that you just don't have to in the city. In the city, you can just be like, fuck all of you, I don't care. And you'll still run into enough people that you actually like, maybe, that you can hang out with. But where I'm from, like, if somebody's stuck on the side of the road, you gotta help them. Because there's just not that many people. If you don't help them, probably no one will.
Yeah.
Because maybe no one else will drive down that road today.
Yeah.
So
It's
like,
rare.
you're like, fuck, I gotta help them. Like,
Do you carry some of that with you over here?
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, a lot of it's been stripped away. You gotta harden yourself to live in the city.
Yeah.
When you live in the country, you can really be who you are with everyone you meet.
Genuine.
Oh,
Yeah.
this guy's kind of wild and crazy. I don't know. At least he's 7 acres over there or whatever the fuck, you know.
Sure, or they're just like, right, there's so much space that like it doesn't matter how you are.
Yeah, because you're not next, right? Like,
Right, you're
50
not you're
feet
not
away.
in my zone.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with you.
Yeah.
You can be over there. You can be however you need to be. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdos in the country. There's a lot of weirdos in the city.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, there's 3 right here in my room right now.
Totally. But we're sane enough to sit in the same room together and do a podcast.
Yeah.
We're sane enough to make it through society. There's a lot of people who aren't.
And what is a goddamn podcast but
a
just
bunch of dudes talking?
Yeah, we're just here, but we just happen to put some fucking mics and headphones on
Totally.
and happen to hit the record button, but
It's just fun.
It is. And you know, again, it's like in the country, like you could never have shit like this. Like all the equipment that it takes to run this, it's like most people would never have the resources to pull that together. And maybe you could. I mean, times have changed.
you gotta get it like
definitely.
airdropped or some shit.
Times have changed, you know, with the internet.
You probably could.
Some drones
You
out
probably
there.
could get it delivered out there for sure, I would think.
You
right?
could. It just takes longer. It's more expensive. It's just more remote. Everything's more remote. It's like I live in the city now, and you can just be like, Amazon groceries. Here, I want toilet paper, and I want asparagus, and I want a fucking Instant Pot, you know?
Yeah.
Here it is in 2 days or less. And like out there back in the 90s or 2000s, you're just like, I'd like to play a video game online. And you're like, here's a $500 internet hookup installation and like quest to get a modem and to get, the service isn't working because a fucking dog dug a hole and dug up the fiber optic line or the fucking Cat 5 line.
You're running like a 56K, huh?
28, baby. 28.
What game are you playing right now?
Okay, yeah, we sidestepped
Yeah.
that. So,
That was a huge sidestep. too.
yeah, well, that's what podcasts are all about.
And we're back.
So right now I'm obsessed. I've been playing Fallout 4 for a long time, but also I'm playing
Man, you definitely do seem like a guy that would play Fallout 4.
I love Fallout.
Sandbox fucking just
Oh yeah.
adventure.
Yeah, I want to talk to
Fuck it.
people.
I play
Blow
Diablo
stuff up.
3.
I'm gonna look for every single fucking item on the fucking map.
I'm not that bad. I am a deep completionist,
Yeah.
but I also like God, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's give me 1 second. Shit.
1.
No, that wasn't
2.
enough.
That's it.
A hypothetical.
Sorry, give me just a moment. I gotta fucking think.
Doom?
It's an old ass game. No, it's not that
StarCraft,
old.
Warcraft,
Doom is old.
Stop it. Stop it.
RTS.
Mount and Blade. With fire and sword is the version I'm playing.
I have not heard of that.
So they're coming out with a new one soon, Mount and Blade Bannerlord. Basically, you're a fucking knight. And in the traditional Mount and Blade games, you, which I haven't played, you are a resident of this mythical kingdom of Calradia, and you vie for power, basically. Like you start off just a little pissant dude who can manage a team of like 10 people, mercenaries, and then as your renown grows larger, you can manage larger teams of people and take over castles and manage fiefdoms, etc. In Mount and Blade with Fire and Sword, which is the version I'm playing, it actually takes place in a truly historic context. It takes place in the 1650s in Eastern Europe. And so you have Russia, Poland, Sweden, the Crimean Khanate, and the
It's like you got like
the
this,
Don
like
Cossacks.
this history and video game kind of, joining together as one, and it's just like the perfect recipe.
It's perfect for me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like the graphics aren't great. It's like a 2008 era game.
Oh, who gives a shit?
I don't give a
Graphics do not mean anything.
No,
to
they
me.
don't, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But and they don't make gameplay for shit anymore like they used to. Finally Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and Rockstar showed everybody again how to make a proper fucking game.
Yeah. That was
Huge
actually the
game.
last game I bought on my Xbox 360. After that, I didn't really. I stopped console gaming or just gaming in general for a while. I do have another console, a Raspberry Pi, loaded with like 10,000 games on it. I'll show you later after this. Pretty fucking trippy.
Dope.
A lot of systems on it, but yeah, like after a while, it just became like too much. Like always trying to upgrade the next console, the next console,
It's
the next
ridiculous.
One. Yeah, but Red Dead Redemption was like such a good fucking game.
I haven't even touched it yet. I already know it's basically.
I haven't played the
perfect.
second one. I've only played the first.
Oh, the OG. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rockstar only
the
makes
second
good
one.
games. I think them and there's certain companies that make decent games.
You can call them out.
Yeah, Blizzard, Riot makes the League of Legends, I think.
Okay.
But that's like the most popular right now. They even have like an esports after that, and fighting games. Fighting games for a while were not so good. There was only like a few franchises that would actually carry the genre, but platformers is always a kind of like a traditional type one. That's why I like Nintendo. Nintendo usually focuses more on gameplay than graphics, and that's not a bad thing.
At
you know?
the end of the day, that's what fucking matters, dude.
Well, it shows in their sales. I mean,
are people
they
having
crush.
fun when they play?
Totally.
Yes. Then bam, you got a winner.
People get hung up on so many different aspects of game design, though.
Graphics, I think, too much.
Well, I mean, people are visually oriented, so it makes sense that people focus on graphics. But when you have, it's all sizzle and no steak, which is like, which is like, if you could call this era anything culturally, that is America for the last 15, 20 years. It's all sizzle, no steak.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks great, but it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't really deliver. It doesn't. I used to talk about like I would, and I can already hear my friend Sarah, who I've known since I was 3, in the back of my head saying, "Don't say this." I'm gonna say it anyway.
Say this, mother.
Say it.
So,
is she gonna hear it? She probably will hear it.
Well, maybe. It's I would relate like women or video games, or I was thinking this analogy of like women versus food. So they're both like, for men, it's just so much like a satisfying thing. It's like I have an urge, it needs to be satisfied, and the way in which it is satisfied will dictate how I feel about that thing.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a home cooked meal versus fast food. It's a deep loving relationship versus a one night stand. It's like, I want a fucking home cooked meal. I could go without In-N-Out the rest of my life, and I love In-N-Out. But I could go without the rest of my life.
Yeah.
If I could eat a home cooked meal every day, it just crushes. It's like even a sloppy hamburger that's at least made with a little bit of love, I'd eat that all day long before I go out to In-N-Out.
Mm.
And that's what a lot of women don't understand nowadays. Why we're like trapped in Tinder world is like a lot of people don't even know how to cook. Not just women, but like people in general don't even know how to cook anymore.
Yeah.
It's fucking shameful. Honestly, I'll say it outright.
I gotta admit, I'm not the best. I could get by, but I could probably improve on my skills.
Well, everyone could.
Yeah.
I work all the time at it.
I'm sure you do.
I do. I cook a lot.
What do you eat? Bear?
I wish. I would love to eat a bear.
A bear would love to eat you, I bet.
You can try.
Him or you.
Fuck you up, man.
Depends on which ones. The brown bears are pretty skittish. You ever see brown bears?
I've never seen a bear. Well, I've seen a bear in real life, but obviously at a zoo.
Internet.
But I mean,
you ever see their behavior, like even on the internet?
not. I mean, probably, but I don't know. Whether I was looking at a skittish brown bear or a scared like infant black bear. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not knowing the differences of what I'm seeing.
So the main ones that you get in the western part of the U.S. are black bears, and they're super skittish. They're like cats. It's like if you go outside and bang a pot, they'll freak out and like run away. They don't want anything to do with that. They're very sound sensitive.
Good thing I'm a drummer, man.
Yeah,
I take a snare drum if I go out to a cabin.
Terrified of that.
Like I hear something else like ba 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 ba. It sounds like
Sound
a
like
gun.
a gun, yeah.
Yeah, they'll freak out. Brown bears will run away. And you see, if you look up videos online, you'll see people dealing with I keep saying brown bears, they're black bears in like the backyard or something that's like trying to go through their trash, and you'll see like some housewife walk outside and start banging a pot, and they like freak out and jump over the fence. But grizzly bear will just rip your throat out and like murder you in the fucking night and eat you. They don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope you do.
That's what you're afraid of.
I hope that fucking grizzly bear does it in one swipe because I don't want to feel any of
Oh,
that
you're gonna
shit.
feel it all. You're gonna go down Revenant style. You're gonna hear the crunch.
I have not seen that movie, dude. I have not seen that movie. I want to see it. I'm like, oh, now. Thanks for burning that one scene for me. Nigel told me I was gonna hear crunch.
You probably won't even remember.
What, you think you're not going to hear a crunch in a movie where a guy gets eaten by a fucking bear? Spoiler alert, the guy who gets eaten by a fucking bear gets crunched on a little bit.
Is it Leo?
It's Leo.
Oh,
it's
no,
great.
bro.
Oh, it's great. No, you got to see it. That's the draw.
All right, everybody. I have to cut the episode right here as it was too big to bounce out in one file. So this is part 1 of a 2-part series with Nigel Walsh. I hope you guys enjoyed it thus far. Stay tuned for part 2 coming very soon. He has a couple more exclusive songs on there just for you. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you for listening to